So whenever there's humans on the planet, which is like, we can never get away from you guys, there's always some kind of coordinated effort in order to control the amount of pain and suffering of the people that don't know how leadership and how global operations work. So, that also don't know how time works. So I'm just curious, human. Throughout all area, space, and time, the church has been keeping a lid on magic, and from magic getting out to the public. Specifically, the public that does not look like the magic's owner, and the brothers and sisters of the magic's owner. So now I'm just curious, human, when we know who the magic owner is, who the magical program is for, and how the magical program runs, why is it that there's so much curiosity and so much breakout and leakage? And why is nobody following direction? So when the salt water boating accident happened, now is it an incident or an accident? I'm curious, all area that doesn't want to fucking pay attention in military panties that have themselves in a bunch. Like below elite level. That are easy to speak to, as far as I'm concerned. Like that level of slime that's just below the elite level. Right, you guys, you assholes. Right, that think that like you're all equal, because you went to nobody gives a shit. Right. Okay, so here's how this goes. God has always had a great relationship with the Catholic Church and with both the dark-skinned onyx Madonna and the white Virgin Mary Madonna. Always. So here's what happens. With some of the Christians, just so you're aware, they get a little freaked out when you start speaking like superstition, and you start speaking about immortality, and like Vladimir the Impaler and things that make me smile with my elite. Right, yeah, okay, so, but it makes, like, the general public, like, really frightened. Got that. I appreciate their warding off and staving off evil as they were instructed throughout all of the millennia by keeping vigilant and making sure that their immediate area is something that is safe for their children to go out and play and not be stolen by the devil's children. Got it? It's an easy way to explain it to the general public. I need apartheid. I know, you guys are like, it took us so long. Right, yeah, you're part of the fucking problem with the cleanup crew. You should have been executed. Straight away. Because here's what happens. I had a saltwater boating accident. Actually, for me, in accounting measures from a vampire, it was actually an incident where someone went overseas, caught an exotic affliction, means their dick got hard for a facially disfigured beast. They caught a venereal disease, had a kid, and then the rest of their party didn't know how to tell them. They didn't want to kill him, but they also didn't know how to tell him that he's a real fucking problem with planetary security and like church godly things. So if you can't reprogram his head and compel his dick to no longer work when he looks at the fucking facially distinguished and disgusting beast, then how do you expect us to keep, humanity's like intellect and ability to like survive on this planet? How do you expect to keep that working? I'm just curious at like elite level at like Citadel, since I'm Adele, ADEL. So here we are, and right, you and me, elite, we got this one locked down. We come from a belly of a black-winged bird, and we are pale as whatever. Head of the Catholic Church is an immortal, right? They don't like to, like, in Mithra terms, it's a myth, a mythology, right? Usually we say in elite places, This is what we believe. We believe this to be so. Yeah, we believe this to be so because when we were looking at the scope of something, we see that it's a possibility in the future and we're trying to avoid the catastrophe of we believe this is what's so. So when that's how we work at like elite level of like white, the Catholic Church backs you elite military white up. So we don't have a boating accident and a salt water accident of like breakouts of, I don't know, anything Indo-Pacific. Oh, you mean like the facially disfigured getting on boats with cannons? Yeah, imagine how the Catholic Church, the protest church, and like, I don't know, anything that likes to be elite, anything in military, all understands fully like the consequences of letting the children of the damned that eat other people's children. They eat horses, they eat dogs and cats and claim it's a delicacy. I think that even the Indian people who don't even eat cow are like, right, yeah, we're gonna go with them on that, because if they're eating like, we don't even eat cow, yeah, there might be something to this. You think? Right, yeah. That's where we have the ancient. We gave you multiple god systems. We gave the Christians one at a time. They got a big job ahead of them with keeping other things safe. So we'll tell you story time on multiple gods. So this way, like, the, Indo-Asians being the whatever, cow-colored, the holy cow covered, right, so that part of the empirical whatever doesn't get all upset. We gave you multiple gods, and you guys are a really nice bunch of people, when you are in your homeland. I don't particularly care for the flavor in New York, I have to be honest, but I've told you that all throughout. I said, when I go home, I like to shower and then have other people like me and my children there. I hope you understand. I only come here because your people had called out and said that they needed something. Otherwise, you know, the church wouldn't have sent me, because I don't go straying into other people's business unless there's a very real problem with your safety. That's how the Catholic Church worked. Always. That's how the Holy Crusades worked. Always. That's why we have Knights Templar. It's the Temple of Knights, being white-skinned, could be multiple lands, and could be multiple parts of a religion, but can see eye to eye on the brotherhood of importance with keeping boating accidents and incidences to a nil, none, zip, zilch, zeta, like nada. So why is there now an Indo-Pacific fleet that I see everything that's dangerous being Chinese, Japanese, Vietnam, like all of those areas that are not allowed to travel by water? Why do they have their own like command posts now? And they also have dark-skinned Indians, the kind that are Punjabi and hide and seek. Why are they out to the water? It's not allowed. There is such a breach of security. Your lands around the world are a complete apartheid disaster. You have boating incidents aplenty that I've documented before down the scope that we believe to be so, that it will be a real fucking problem. Oh, you better fucking believe it, buddy. So here we are in year 2020, and not one of you humans kept your fucking word to God, or to the immortals, or the guardians and the watchers from Galaxy, who've been helping you along the Star Ward path of, like, how do we warden all of this when you keep shipping. Okay, so Britain, let me get this straight. You fucking assholes are mad that we removed your, partnership with the West Indies when we caught you purposely interfering and sending their shitbags into America. Purposely. So you got nixed from being able to call them, from them being able to call themselves Britain for any reason, because Illuminati was having trouble with Catholic and the protest church. So that's a really real event. So Britain, I don't know, you've been charged before and you've been found guilty in history of sending and paying other people's children that were not allowed to make it to, like, New York or anywhere in the Americas. So why were you busing or boating your children over? I'm just curious, especially the dark-skinned ones, when you knew how dangerous this was. This is not a fucking game. Like, it's humanity's safety. And I said, for every one of those ill gestures that you keep making, like this is a contest of some, like, elite white kid in a fucking crown, like Prince William and Prince Charles, against the rest of the Catholic Church, the rest of the Illuminati in Britain, that's like, what do we do? Right, yeah, where do we go for help? Imagine if your queen in Elizabeth in England is self-sabotaging the entire planet's security and ability to maintain business partner relationships, a healthy, like, whatever, keep people within their own jurisdiction and not have them travel and be falsely led. What do you think's gonna happen, fucking stupid-ass cunt Elizabeth in London? I'm just curious, since you're the one sitting in a crown that stole it from my relatives. So you're the only one in London, England, that I will ever hold accountable, along with Philip, your son, and all your fucking grandchildren that I want their heads on a fucking spike to prove the point just how fucking serious we are. So here we are, Elizabeth. Told you so. Just curious why you've been sitting around for, I don't know, like 80-something years, living on the high on the hog, and confusing your partnership with World and mine, and keeping me silent with other dangerous partners that were already planning more dangerous things. You just didn't want to fucking believe it. You thought it was a personal vendetta. I could not give a shit less, Elizabeth. I would have liked to have worked as arm in arm, white woman to white woman, and had this rectified before my grandparents were born. But clearly, you are such a fucking cunt and only care about yourself.